What if I told you that the simple act of reheating your leftovers, something almost all of us do every single day to save time and money, could be one of the most overlooked health risks in your kitchen? Especially if you are over the age of 60. I know how it sounds. It sounds like one of those sensationalist health claims that pop up in your feed, designed to scare you. But I am not talking about a wellness trend or a myth passed down through the generations. I am talking about specific biochemical changes that occur when certain foods are subjected to heat for a second time. We are talking about the formation of carcinogenic compounds, the rapid multiplication of heat-resistant bacteria, and the degradation of essential nutrients that your body, particularly as it ages, desperately needs to maintain its defenses. By the end of this video, you are going to know exactly which 5 common foods you should never, ever put back in the microwave or on the stove once they have cooled, the specific science behind why these foods become toxic to the aging body, and the simple, practical habits you can adopt to keep your meals safe without wasting food. This isn't about fear, it's about empowerment through precision. So stick with me, because if you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, the way your body processes these specific toxins has changed, and what didn't hurt you at 30 could be a significant risk today. This one really matters. Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is the place where we strip away the hype and look at the hard science of longevity and healthy aging. My goal is to give you the tools to live a high-energy, disease-free life by understanding how the world around us and the food on our plates interacts with our biology. Today, we are diving into a topic that genuinely surprised me when I looked at the clinical data regarding food safety and senior health. We all know that as we age, our immune systems undergo a process called immunosenescence. This is a natural decline in the immune system's ability to fight off infections and repair cellular damage. For those over 60, this means that your margin for error with foodborne toxins is much smaller than it used to be. A younger person might eat a reheated dish and feel a bit of indigestion, but for a senior, those same toxins can trigger systemic inflammation or, in the case of certain chemicals, increase the long-term risk of cellular mutations that lead to cancer. Let's start with the first food on our list, and it is perhaps the most common staple in the world: rice. Now, you might be thinking, how could rice possibly be dangerous? The danger isn't actually in the reheating itself, but in how the rice was stored before it hit the microwave. Raw rice often contains spores of a bacterium called Bacillus cereus. These spores are incredibly hardy. They can survive the initial boiling process. If cooked rice is left standing at room temperature, these spores can germinate into bacteria. These bacteria then multiply and produce toxins that are heat-resistant. This means that even if you reheat the rice until it is steaming hot, the toxins are already there and they aren't going anywhere. For a senior with a more sensitive digestive tract, this can lead to fried rice syndrome, causing severe vomiting and diarrhea, which at 65 or 70 can lead to rapid dehydration, a leading cause of hospitalization in older adults. The rule is simple. If you didn't refrigerate it within an hour of cooking, do not reheat it. It's simply not worth the risk to your gut health. The second food is one that many of us consider a health food: spinach and other leafy greens like celery or beets. These vegetables are naturally high in nitrates. Nitrates are generally good for you. They help with circulation and blood pressure. However, when you cook these greens, let them cool, and then reheat them, those nitrates can be converted into nitrites and then into nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are a group of chemical compounds that are highly carcinogenic. In fact, they are specifically linked to an increased risk of gastric and esophageal cancers. As we age, our stomach acid production often decreases, which changes the environment of our gut and makes it even easier for these harmful compounds to form and be absorbed. If you have leftover spinach, the safest way to eat it is cold in a salad. Do not put it back under the heat. Your cells will thank you for avoiding that extra oxidative stress. Moving on to the third food, and this one is a major source of protein for many: chicken. The problem with reheating chicken lies in its protein structure. Chicken has a very dense protein composition. When you heat it a second time, these proteins actually undergo a structural change, a process called denaturation. For a younger digestive system, this might just mean the meat is a bit tougher to chew. But for seniors, whose digestive enzymes, like pepsin and hydrochloric acid, are often produced in lower quantities, these altered proteins become significantly harder to break down. This can lead to significant digestive distress, bloating, and a state of silent inflammation in the gut. Furthermore, chicken is highly prone to salmonella contamination if not stored at the perfect temperature. Reheating often doesn't reach a high enough internal temperature for a long enough time to kill off new bacterial colonies that may have formed in the cold spots of your microwave. If you must have that leftover chicken, consider slicing it thin and eating it cold on a sandwich or in a wrap to preserve the original protein integrity. The fourth food is one that often surprises people because it feels so harmless: potatoes. Much like rice, the danger with potatoes is twofold. First, if potatoes are left to cool at room temperature, especially if they are wrapped in foil, which creates an oxygen-free environment, they can grow Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria that causes botulism. Reheating usually isn't enough to kill these spores. Secondly, potatoes are rich in starch. When reheated at high temperatures, especially if fried or roasted, they can produce acrylamide. Acrylamide is a chemical that forms in starchy foods during high-heat cooking and has been classified by the International Agency for Research on Cancer as a probable human carcinogen. For seniors, whose bodies are already working harder to repair DNA damage, adding acrylamide to the mix is like pouring fuel on a fire. The best practice? Cook only what you need, or if you have leftovers, keep them strictly refrigerated and eat them cold. The fifth and final food is mushrooms. Mushrooms are incredibly delicate. They contain complex proteins and minerals that begin to degrade almost the moment they are harvested, and this process accelerates once they are cooked. If mushrooms are stored improperly and then reheated, the proteins are further dismantled by bacteria and heat, which can cause extreme digestive upset. But more importantly, the degradation of mushrooms can lead to the release of free radicals. As we focus on longevity, our primary goal is to reduce free radical damage, which is a key driver of the aging process and the development of chronic diseases. Reheating mushrooms essentially turns a nutrient-dense superfood into a source of oxidative stress. Why does this matter so much specifically for those over 60? It comes down to a concept called the toxic burden. Throughout our lives, our bodies are remarkably good at detoxifying harmful substances. We have the liver, the kidneys, and a robust immune system. However, by the time we reach our 60s, our metabolic reserve, the capacity of our organs to handle stress, is lower. Our liver enzymes are less efficient at processing nitrosamines. Our kidneys are less efficient at filtering out the metabolic byproducts of degraded proteins. Our gut lining is often thinner and more leaky, allowing these toxins to enter our bloodstream more easily, where they can contribute to systemic inflammation. This inflammation is the root cause of almost every age-related disease, from heart disease to Alzheimer's. I want to be very clear. I am not saying you should never eat leftovers. Leftovers are a great way to maintain a consistent, healthy diet. What I am suggesting is a shift in how we handle them. The science of food safety has evolved, and we now know that just heating it up until it's hot isn't a universal safety net. So, what can you do practically? First, invest in a good food thermometer. If you are going to reheat something like meat or soup, ensure it reaches an internal temperature of at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the kill zone for most common pathogens. Second, the 2-hour rule is your best friend. Never let cooked food sit out for more than 2 hours. 1 hour if the room is warm. Get it into the refrigerator quickly to stop bacterial growth in its tracks. Third, rethink your reheat. Many of the foods I mentioned, like spinach, chicken, and potatoes, are delicious cold. By eating them cold, you avoid the secondary chemical changes that occur with a second round of heat. Think about your kitchen as your personal longevity laboratory. Every choice you make, from the spices you use to how you handle your leftovers, is a signal to your body. You are either sending signals of health and repair, or signals of stress and inflammation. By avoiding the reheating of these 5 specific foods, you are removing a significant source of silent toxins from your daily life. You are giving your immune system a break, allowing it to focus on more important tasks, like surveillance against abnormal cells and maintaining your energy levels. The research into nutrition and aging is moving incredibly fast. We are moving away from general advice and toward precision nutrition. We are realizing that the standard food safety advice given to a 20-year-old athlete simply doesn't apply to a 70-year-old who is focused on maintaining their cognitive health and physical vigor. Your body is a finely tuned instrument, and as it matures, it requires more refined care. I want you to take a look at your fridge today. If you see that container of yesterday's rice or that bowl of sautéed spinach, remember what we talked about. It might seem like a small thing to throw it out or to eat it cold instead of popping it in the microwave, but these small daily decisions are exactly what build a foundation for long-term health. We often look for magic bullets or miracle supplements to keep us young, but the real secret to longevity is often found in the things we stop doing. Stop reheating the toxins. Stop inviting inflammation into your gut. If you found this information helpful, please share it with a friend or a family member who might be in that 60-plus age group. These are simple changes that can have a profound impact on someone's quality of life. And if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more coming up on how to optimize your circulation, boost your natural energy, and navigate the science of aging with confidence and clarity. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Did you know about the risks of reheating rice or spinach? Have you noticed that certain leftovers make you feel sluggish or bloated as you've gotten older? Your experiences help this community grow, and I learn so much from the stories you share. In our next video, we are going to look at the 3 longevity minerals that most seniors are deficient in, and the specific foods you can eat to get them back into your system. You won't want to miss that one. Until then, take care of your body, be mindful of your kitchen habits, and remember that it's never too late to start making choices that support your best, most vibrant self. I'll see you in the next one. To go a bit deeper into the science for those of you who really want the why, let's talk about the specific nature of the nitrosamines we mentioned in leafy greens. When nitrites, which form from the breakdown of nitrates during that second heating cycle, interact with secondary amines, which are naturally present in the vegetables, they create these N-nitroso compounds. These compounds are known to cause DNA adducts. Think of an adduct as a glitch in your genetic code. Usually, your body has repair enzymes that go in and fix the glitch. But as we age, those repair crews are slower and fewer in number. If a glitch goes unrepaired and the cell divides, that's how a mutation starts. This is why the risk is cumulative. It's not that one bowl of reheated spinach causes cancer, it's that a lifetime of small DNA glitches adds up until the body can no longer keep up with the repairs. This is why healthy aging is really about minimizing these glitches wherever we can. The same goes for the acrylamide in potatoes. It's not just a potential toxin, it's a substance that the body has to actively detoxify using a molecule called glutathione. Glutathione is often called the master antioxidant. However, our levels of glutathione naturally drop as we age. When we eat foods high in acrylamide, we are using up our precious, limited supply of glutathione to neutralize the potato toxin instead of using it to protect our brain cells or our heart tissue. It's a matter of resource management. By not reheating those potatoes, you are literally saving your body's most powerful protective resources for more important work. And let's touch briefly on the fried rice syndrome bacteria, Bacillus cereus. There are actually 2 types of illness it causes. One is the diarrheal type, caused by a protein produced in the small intestine, and the other is the emetic, vomiting type, caused by a toxin already formed in the food. The emetic toxin is the one that is resistant to heat. It can withstand 250 degrees Fahrenheit for 90 minutes. So your 2-minute microwave blast? It does absolutely nothing to that toxin. For a senior, the strain of severe vomiting can lead to more than just dehydration. It can cause a spike in blood pressure or put undue stress on the heart. It's a physical trauma that your body shouldn't have to endure just for the sake of not wasting a cup of rice. This is the level of detail we need to be thinking about. It's not about being paranoid. It's about being a sophisticated consumer of your own fuel. You wouldn't put low-grade, contaminated fuel into a classic car that you wanted to keep running for another 30 years. You'd be meticulous. Your body, especially as you enter your 60s and beyond, is that classic car. It's capable of incredible performance, but it requires the right fuel and the right handling. Let's talk about the cultural aspect of this for a moment. Many of us grew up in a waste not, want not era. The idea of throwing away perfectly good-looking food feels wrong, but we have to redefine what good means. If the food has been chemically altered by heat or contaminated by invisible heat-resistant toxins, it is no longer good food. It is a biological liability. We have to give ourselves permission to prioritize our health over the desire to finish every scrap. Instead of reheating, think about repurposing. Cold leftover potatoes can be diced and put into a cold Spanish-style potato salad with olive oil and vinegar, both of which are great for your heart. Cold chicken can be shredded into a Mediterranean salad with chickpeas and cucumbers. Cold rice can actually be a great source of resistant starch, which is a type of fiber that feeds the good bacteria in your gut, as long as it was refrigerated immediately after the first cooking. By eating these foods cold, you are actually turning a potential risk into a nutritional win. One of the most powerful things about reaching your 60s and beyond is the wisdom you've accumulated. You know that consistency beats intensity every time. You know that the small habits you practice every day are what determine your trajectory. Applying that wisdom to your kitchen is one of the most proactive steps you can take for your longevity. We are living in an era where we can expect to not just live longer, but live better. We can be active, sharp, and full of energy well into our 80s and 90s. But that requires us to update our operating manual. It requires us to listen to the new science that tells us the old ways of handling food might be holding us back. As you go about your week, I want you to feel a sense of pride in these small adjustments. When you decide to make a fresh batch of greens instead of reheating the old ones, or when you move the leftovers into the fridge immediately after dinner, you are making a deposit into your health bank. You are choosing a future of vitality. I'm glad you're part of this journey. This channel is growing because you are hungry for the truth, the real actionable science of living well. We have much more to explore together, from sleep architecture to building functional strength that keeps you mobile for life. Take a deep breath, realize how much control you actually have over your health, and let's keep moving forward. Take care of your gut, protect your cells, and keep that energy high. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video where we'll dive into those essential longevity minerals. It's going to be a game changer for your energy levels. See you then.